The Regional Rapid Transit System in Delhi is a transformative infrastructure aimed at enhancing regional connectivity. The Voluntary Action Network India has documented the positive impacts of this development project, but also the difficulties associated with this transport system. One of the significant benefits of this project is its ability to link two different cities. This lets commuters travel daily for work and return home the same day, saving money on rent and allowing them to spend more time with their families.
I'm here to see the impact of the RRTC project, which was funded by a multilateral development bank. So we are here to showcase the negative and positive impacts both.
मैं मेरठ से आ रही हूँ एक्चुअली। मैं यहाँ जॉब करती हूँ, तो मेरे लिए एक्चुअली ये बहुत कन्वीनियंट हो गया कि मेरठ से यहाँ, अदरवाइज़ मुझे यहाँ पे रेंट पे लेके रहना पड़ता था और रेंट काफ़ी हाई है एक्चुअली। तो मेरी जो जॉब है वो यही दिल्ली में ही है एंड मेरे लिए काफ़ी लंबा पड़ता था सफ़र, वीकेंड में आना जाना। अब मैं डेली आती हूँ, अपना जॉब करती हूँ एंड आई कैन गो बैक टू माई फैमिली।
The metro has also worked in reducing congestion and fostering economic activity across regions. For some workers, their income has grown exponentially.
हमारी पहले आमदनी 500-400 हो जाती थी, अब जब से मेट्रो बना है 1000 भी हो जाती है, 1200 भी आती है, कभी कभी कम भी हो जाती है। जैसे संडे को काम हल्का रहता है, ऑफिस टाइम छुट्टी रहती है।
और कितने लोग आ जाते हैं रोज, कितनी सवारियां हो जाती हैं?
मैम होगी कम से कम 200-250 होगी सवारी आ जाती हैं।
However, not everything is positive. To build this transport system, several residents were displaced from their homes. Some lost a place where they used to live for more than 3 decades.
यहाँ कितने साल से रह रहे हो?
यहाँ तो बहुत साल से रह,
कितने साल?
30-35 साल से जुग्गी में रहे, जहाँ मेट्रो बना है।
पूरा बोलिए ना कि यहाँ जुग्गी में,
हाँ,
यहाँ जुग्गी में रहते थे।
जुग्गी में रहते थे, जहाँ मेट्रो बन गया।
फिर क्या हुआ?
फिर वहाँ से हटा दिया, वहाँ से हटा दिया।
और आप यहाँ किराए पे रह रहे हो?
यहाँ किराए पर रहे।
वो गोरखपुर से अफसर आया था, बोला बाबा आपको रहने के लिए मिलेगा जगह, लेकिन यहाँ से भागना नहीं। यहाँ मेट्रो का पिलर बनेगा, इस जगह मेट्रो इसी जगह बनेगा, लेकिन अब भागना नहीं, कुछ मिलेगा आपको। हाँ, लेकिन मिलेगा क्या, वो तो मीटर बाय मीटर लिख के ले गया गोरखपुर का जो अफसर था, बोला भागना नहीं।
These residents were promised fair compensation and support to relocate to new homes, but some never received neither help nor money.
तो वहाँ से जब हटाया तो उन्होंने बोला था घर वगैरह कुछ देंगे ऐसे?
बोला था, लिख लिख को ले गया, कहीं कुछ नहीं दिया।
क्या लिख के ले गए?
सब मैं आधार कार्ड लिया था, नाम सब लिख जुग्गी लिख को लग गया, जितना जुग्गी था उतना लिख को लग गया, कुछ नहीं दिया, कुछ नहीं मिला।
क्या क्या देंगे बोले थे?
बोला कि जगह मिलेगा। हाँ, और ये टूटेगा तो आपको जगह मिलेगा। सब चीज़ ले गया था लिख लिख के, जुग्गी जितना जुग्गी था, जितना आदमी था उतना नाम ले गया था लिख लिख के। आधार कार्ड भी लिया था।
उन लोगों ने ये मेट्रो बनाया, उस वक्त अगर आपको उन्होंने अच्छा घर दिया होता तो आपको आज किराए पे रहना पड़ता नहीं
रहता है।
तो आप फिर वो किसी ने आके आपसे पूछा कि आप लोगों को पैसे मिले या नहीं मिले, सरकार से कोई लोग आए थे?
नहीं, फिर नहीं पूछा, लिख लिख को ले गया, फिर नहीं पूछा कुछ।
तो इससे आपको कुछ सुविधा भी हो रही है? मेट्रो जो बनी है इससे कोई सुविधा हो रही है?
मेरा क्या सुविधा मिलेगा, हम सबको क्या मिलेगा सुविधा? तो मकान घर वाला को सुविधा मिलेगी।
1,70,000 कुछ रुपये था एक आदमी पे, वो फाइल बन के हमारे नाम से आ गया। फाइल देने के लिए चाहता था, लेकिन अफसर जितना भी एसपी डीएसपी था, जितना भी, कोई हमारा हाथ में नहीं आने दिया, दबोच लिया। पैसा भी नहीं दिया। उसके बाद बड़ा अफसर आया 4 दिन के बाद कि बाबा आपके नाम से 1,70,000 कुछ रुपये हम सब भेजे एक नाम से, एक आदमी के नाम से, पैसे मिला कि नहीं? तो बाबू एक फूटी कौड़ी नहीं मिला। अच्छा, हम पता लगाते हैं कहाँ गया वो पैसे, वो भी गायब हो गया। तो हम सब क्या कर सकते थे, ऐसे ही रह गए, जैसे समय काट रहे उसी तरह। तो छितिर बितिर हो गए, कोई किराए पर, कोई कहीं, कोई अपना घर चला गया बिहार। क्या होगा, सब दाब दिया, खा पी गया।
The Voluntary Action Network India calls for a more inclusive approach in such projects where civil society and local communities are at the center, so that rights can always be safeguarded and promoted at all stages of development projects.
As civil society, we believe that the voices of the local community most affected should really be, they should be talked to, that should be included. Otherwise, these projects at such a large scale cannot be sustainable and inclusive. These are the people that have been most affected, and their voices must be included from scratch, from the point of implementation and monitoring to when it started, when the decision making for the project was happening. Local community and local CSOs are the point of contact to make the implementation better and more inclusive.
La société civile, comme on le sait de part et d'autre, joue un rôle très important pour le développement des questions concernant les droits humains, les libertés individuelles et collectives. Et les banques publiques de développement travaillent et investissent de façon globale au niveau des États pour avancer les questions de développement au niveau de ces pays. Et donc, il est important qu'il y ait une synergie et que la société civile qui représente donc les communautés, les populations soient engagées, parce que les investissements qui sont faits par les banques publiques de développement ont objectif à renforcer le bien-être et également le développement au niveau de ces pays.
We hope that the development banks will recognize the importance of having those indigenous community being represented in such coalitions. Otherwise, I'm happy and going back happy, but hoping in future, let the CSOs also be airing their voices, since they represent the very, very poor back at our homes.
All the talk, all the discussions, all the plans, all the calls for action, ultimately, they're about the community, they're about the people, they're about development being done together with and for the people.
Cape Town, South Africa, Cartagena, Colombia, Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, Rome, Italy, Paris, France. Since 2020, the Finance in Common Summit is an annual meeting gathering all public development banks, global leaders, the private sector, and civil society, as well as community representatives, to reimagine and reshape sustainable finance. And there's much to be reimagined. These global gatherings are part of a broader movement to transform the global financial architecture, one that remains deeply unequal and shaped by historical power imbalances.
These public development banks must provide credit that is extremely cheap and that is affordable for countries. We know as global south countries we are facing, high cost of capital, which are in some way impeding on the ability, to invest sometimes in things that are not necessarily profitable. So we need these public development banks to provide capital that is relatively cheap, that is large, that is substantial, and that is enough for the transition.
public development banks have an obligation to respect, protect, and fulfill human rights. And therefore, as civil society organizations who are working towards promoting and ensuring the realization and protection of human rights, there is also that obligation for public development banks to work quite closely and in collaboration with us, because other than just speaking on behalf of the communities, we also represent the voices of these marginalized communities.
Under our current development model, almost all environmental and social risks are borne by local communities, and almost none of the rewards are actually received by them. And that needs to urgently change as we're thinking about reforming financial architecture if we're to have even a slight chance of addressing the big crises that face us today.
And our work centers on operational environment for nonprofits, building their capacity, and also ensuring attainment of the SDGs. And that is where our work connects nicely with the public development banks. How do we look for alternative funding for the Sustainable Development Goals? How do we use the investments that are already available within these public banks to catalyze the attainment of the goals?
From every stage of the Financing Commons Summit, one message rang loud and clear. Public development banks must meaningfully engage with civil society and local communities as equal partners. This call extends far beyond a single summit. Across all global development spaces, civil society and communities must be fully involved in shaping priorities, decision-making, and implementation.
I want to specifically highlight the coalition we will build between PDBs and CSOs. That's extremely important, and CSOs have been in the discussion and in the governance of FIX from day one.
Those who have contributed less to this crisis are those who are suffering most. That is why it is crucial to rethink how development is financed and to put communities and people at the heart of the solution for short and long-term challenges. Public development banks must guarantee transparency, ensure the necessary conditions for genuine community projects from inception to completion. Such an approach, respectfully of human rights, will also ensure sustainability, long-term profitability, avoiding also all the costs resulting from conflict.
The people from the community that I'm standing here representing don't benefit out of this financing that we are talking about. The people from Lepalal are not benefiting from this financing, and it was alarming, and it got me worried that development financing is not being looked at in a human rights based approach or lens, that ensures that communities contribute, communities participate in, and communities actually benefit from the development projects that impact on their lives.
L'idée de la synergie d'action, de la coopération entre les banques publiques de développement et les organisations de la société civile, constitue un changement de paradigme.
For civil society and communities, being present is not enough. Their voices must be heard by those in positions of power. These voices are calling loud and clear for human rights to be respected and for local communities to be included in decision-making from start to finish. As the world looks toward the outcomes of the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development and beyond, this principle must guide us. No financial reform, no investment, no development plan can be legitimate or effective unless it centers the rights, needs, and leadership of the people it claims to serve. The future of financing for development at national, regional, and global levels depends on dismantling the systems of exclusion and replacing them with frameworks rooted in justice, participation, and accountability.
The key word might be democracy there, so that we would hear the voice of the people, and not only those peoples or nations that are in powerful positions in the world, but really like to represent different countries, nations, areas of the world democratically. So that would allocate the funds also in a needs-based way.
Y porque además uno a nivel global sí que se sigue interesando en los problemas nacionales, pero bueno, tu visión también se agranda, ¿no? Y tampoco si yo estoy bien, pero bueno, si el vecino o el otro están mal, significa que somos uno, ¿no? O sea, la humanidad es una, ¿no? O sea, si el vecino está mal, yo tampoco estoy bien, ¿no? Porque somos una especie sola, digamos. Entonces, como que en eso me parece que está bueno siempre estar atentos y seguir trabajando en eso, porque incluso en ámbitos internacionales de decisión, estos grupos antiderechos están teniendo presencia.
Tenemos un desafío democrático muy fuerte, que es volver a posicionar los derechos y un mundo mejor colectivo, y ya no individual como propone el gobierno, sino que un mundo mejor es por el camino colectivo y que es posible. Ese es nuestro camino.